It's Bracket Challenge season, and the Fox Sports Radio Bracket Challenge is live. So be sure to complete your bracket at foxsportsradio.com right now. The winning bracket in the Fox Sports Radio Bracket Challenge will win a $2,500 gift card to Tractor Supply, and a perfect bracket will win you $1 million. So fill out your bracket now, and until Thursday morning before the games begin, visit foxsportsradio.com to register, to get the rules, and to fill out your bracket. It's all sponsored by Tractor Supply for life out here. I see some folks got the brackets up there. I'm going to fill mine out here soon.
Yes.
Go ahead and smoke. You know, last time, before we get these calls, last time I did a bracket, I won a Kobe Bryant signed basketball with the letter of authentication. So I do that.
Very nice.
Just wanted you to know that.
Continue. Let's talk some more NBA.
Yeah. Rob G, we had Dan Byers earlier gave us that update about Paul George and him being out for the season, and obviously just not a great season to say the least for the Sixers. What is?
I'm not surprised. Like when the Clippers moved off him, I thought that was $200-something million. They were like, no, thank you, thank you, but no, thank you.
And
Steve Ballmer has all the money in the world,
literally. He does, man. That's why I love seeing him going crazy. Like, man, this dude, life is just good. Worth $100-something billion. You got a team that's just for fun.
He's just printing money every day.
That's like, well,
seriously,
literally, when you get to that amount of money, your stocks alone, like you could do nothing else in life, and you're gonna make like $1 million a day, right, minimum. Anyway, so that was the news with Paul George. But my thought, Rob, and it goes to two teams. I'm gonna start with the Sixers. And I legitimately am asking this from a business standpoint, from a practical standpoint. Help me make it make sense. Because, hey, I don't know everything. Maybe I'm missing it. Paul George has been one of the best two-way players of the last decade plus. He had a heck of a career. So many young people say he's the best player in the league. They love him. His style, watching him aesthetically.
Best player in the league.
Well, that's the whole thing with the young people. They all say he's their favorite player. If you ask a bunch of young kids
favorite
in college,
is fine. No GOAT. There's no such thing.
No.
They don't understand.
I'm saying he's their favorite player. They all love just because aesthetically the way he plays. But the issue I had is if you're the Sixers, why do you go get Paul George and pair Paul George with Joel Embiid? Both chronically injured, both always missing games, both never reliable. It's not their fault. Like, they're really great talents when they're healthy, but they're not. And you knew you had issues with Joel Embiid. You know that he's never been healthy. In fact, he's only played about, I think it's 47% of his regular season games in his career. And you pair him with PG-13, who's hardly ever playing. Is always dealing with something, whether it be a knick-knack injury or a legitimate injury. And I don't get the business model of doing that. Like, why would you do that? And the other team that I'm confused about, because these are just bad habits from organizations, is Dallas. And Dallas says, hey, Luka's going to have a catastrophic injury in the next 5 years. He's not built for this. He doesn't take care of himself. And if that's what they legitimately feel, okay, I disagree, but that's what they feel. They see him every day. So then why do you trade him for a 6-7-year-older Anthony Davis, who's always injured way more than Luka? So there's been a couple of moves from these teams that, to me, I'm not even a rocket scientist. I don't even have to be a Dr. Doogie Howser or anybody to make this make sense. And I genuinely don't get it. I'm like, am I missing something here? Where you pair Paul George, always injured, with Joel Embiid, even more always injured, and now they're both out for the season. You don't know what's going to happen with Joel Embiid next year because he's going to get these surgeries. Paul George is at this point a shell of himself because he did not look great even when he was healthy with the 76ers. And again, you got Anthony Davis with Kyrie, who's injury-prone, not quite as bad as some others, but Kyrie has issues at times. And you went and got an older Anthony Davis who's always injured. You're a smart guy. Please make this make sense because I don't get the moves.
Not the Paul George, because I would have wanted no part of Paul George.
Pairing with Joel Embiid.
But I do understand the Mavericks because, remember, it was about money, too. The $350 million was sitting there.
They didn't want to sign him for that.
So they had to figure out, well, what could we do to get a player, right, who's got some cachet. And Anthony Davis, while his history is being injured, he had a nice stretch of not being.
I think 2 or 3 games he played last year. And that was great.
And that was really good for him. And I'm not saying we know what his history is. So I understand once you're not committed to signing Luka, you got to figure out what you're going to do. It's not just let him go and we get nothing. You got to figure out something that's going to be that could work with Kyrie, who's there, and we know Kyrie, yes, he's been banged up as well, but their thought was if you add Anthony Davis to Kyrie, we still have a dynamic.
And they would have.
Right. If they're healthy, that's a dynamic duo that could help us get a run. They just went to the finals last year. Yes, it was with Luka and Kyrie, but you're figuring like Anthony Davis can.
Small to a big, catching lobs. No, I get
and
that.
all that. But if you're going to take someone it's Philadelphia. Because they didn't just get him on a discount. Oh, my God, let's take a flyer on him. You know who Paul George is. You know you had to pay top dollar because he balked when the Clippers wanted a discount, right? So he wanted top dollar, which he got. And then, he's got the podcast thing. He just hasn't – he's always banged up or turns in a stinker at some point. I don't know. Like, would not have been interested in Paul George under any circumstance.
It's the pairing.
I'm dead serious.
I'm sure you have. I don't know if are you a wine connoisseur? Anybody? Rob G, you a wine connoisseur? Anybody been to, you've been to Sonoma, you've been to these wine tasting places. They always tell you what it pairs with, right? They'll say, "Oh, this wine right here is our new."
Why do I need to go to Sonoma to turn the cap on a wine bottle?
Don't do that.
Saying. No.
It's sometimes just about the experience, Rob.
Okay.
You go there, it's beautiful. You walk in the wine.
Have you gone with your wife?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, wine. Oh,
is she a wine drinker?
No, for that, yes. You go there. You go to Temecula, out here in Southern California. Yeah, it's just nice to be around, to be out. Beautiful time. Yeah, you try to shake it around. It's time. Shake it around. Smell this. You got to taste a little bit. Then they say
that sounds like a mouse eating cheese.
Yeah. Well, you would have been running if it did. and then they say, well, this pairs weird with a steak, or if we're talking to Rob Parker, we would say lamb chops. This pairs weird with lamb chops. If we're talking to Kelvin Washington, we would say short rib. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds great. Then they tell you, this white wine, it's a delicacy, has a little more of the herbs, lavender, and it pairs well with the white fish. You know what I mean? They're doing some terrible pairings, is my point. If you went out there and you got Paul George, fine, but you got to put him with Mikal Bridges, 2,400 straight games. You know what I mean? An Iron Man of the NBA. You're pairing injured with hurt. That's the part I don't get.
But they also look at it as
they're trying to tank. Must be.
Well, trying to add another star because that team had Harden.
Well, you're gonna have to go
that
get
team
a move.
had Ben Simmons when he was an All-Star. I'm just trying to say where they had three guys. Jimmy Butler used to be on that team, so there's a star. There's a star factor, I think, that goes with why Philadelphia was interested. I'm just telling you.
How you going to get a star that never shines? Well, that was a bar, Rob G. How you going to get a star that never shines? We don't ever get this. Y'all look up, I look up at the sky. You know how you lay on your back with your little girlfriend when you're 12, you look up and just there's no stars. It's cloudy, okay, because they're not playing out there. You never see them together. And when they are, they sucked. So I don't understand it, man. I just sometimes listen. I'm not GM of the year. I'm not Sam Presti, Bob Myers or anything. Joe Dumars back in his day, except for Darko. But
why you gotta say that? He won a championship with that team.
He did win a championship.
You gotta stop that.
What do you mean I gotta stop that? We could have had
the Pistons.
Could have had 4 championships.
No. But if they would have drafted and didn't get
Rasheed. No, they needed Chris Bosh. Everybody always says, No, Chris Bosh was the answer. Yeah. For everything you liked about Darko, that was Chris Bosh. But anyway, that's my point. These pairings are
championship.
They did. Oh, I was there. Pairing, that's my biggest point. You pair Paul George with Embiid. You pair, or you market. Here's the other part. You're Dallas, and that's fine. The trade, we get it. Hey, that's what they felt they need to do. You're going to get ridiculed, but you stand on business. It's that they came out and talked about injury, and we don't think he's fit, and he's going to be injured. And that's the big part, Rob, is that they went out of their way to stress that, but you signed a guy that's perpetually injured. And what does he do literally in a Freudian, William Shakespearean way is get injured the first game after dominating the first half, comes back injured. You go, that is Anthony Davis. Balling out of control, reminding you why he's one of the best players in the NBA. Oh, but wait, Dan gets injured. So that's my whole point, is these pairings, I just don't get it. I'm wondering why GM's doing it. And we laugh sometimes about, you and I, the situation they're doing with the Giants, keeping Daniel Jones, letting Saquon go, and all that backfiring. With some of these GMs in the NBA are having the same situation where I'm like, this was an obvious move from the jump. What are you doing? Anyway.
Yeah. The only one I'm going to push back on is the Dallas one. Once you decide.
I don't get how you pushing back on that.
Once you decide you don't want him, you got.
But don't you go get
who?
Steph? Don't you go
Nah,
get
Steph's not
a
being,
young Cade Cunningham? Like, don't you go get something? Don't I go get who else
That's
is
not
like a
gonna,
middle?
that's not going to work. You're looking for somebody who can give you that duo,
He's
right?
31, though.
It doesn't matter. What are they trying to win? They're not trying to win 8 championships. If you're Dallas, you can win 1 championship. You know what I mean? Like, let's not get ridiculous about what teams are trying to do. If you can win 1, that's going to buy you time.
Dude, this was Luka. Go get
will
Giannis.
feel good.
Go get Giannis.
Tom Izzo's still living off of Michigan State in 2000.
Man, Tom Izzo is going to fight you when he sees you.
I'm just
He's
saying.
had enough of it.
Since
I had to deal with him in Michigan. Now I got to deal with him when he's in California. He gonna stand on an apple box and swing on you.
You get my point.
My
My point is you don't need to win that often.
You go
If you're a
get
team,
Giannis.
you can get 1.
You go get Giannis.
Giannis ain't being traded.
For Luka?
No.
Would you do that, Rob G? If I say, hey, man, I'm sick of Luka. He's getting on my nerves. Give me Giannis. I'll give you Giannis. I'll give you Luka straight up. Straight up. 1 for 1.
No.
No?
No, you're not making that trade.